My name is Scott. And by the way, oh, that's GT there. Yeah, by the way, that's GT over there, popping his head out from behind the mic as he's in the middle of downloading something. I don't believe it's anything nefarious, but at this point, we're not totally sure just yet. And then down below me is Mr. Brandon K. As always, this is Tales from the Film Set. What grinds my gears? We had the opportunity to sit there and gripe, piss, grumble, bitch, and moan about all the things that basically we don't like so much on an open forum to basically just get it out of our system and double as therapy as necessary. So, kicking things off, Brandon, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty well. Got a lot of good things coming up. Got basketball started on my end. We got pushing out content out the wazoo, and it's always glad to be on with you guys.
I appreciate it, man. So I know you're crushing it basically in the basketball side of things. You know, I am aware of basketball.
I had a real roller coaster of a night last night doing the Celtics and the Nets.
But, I heard that basically it was,
Queen sings, the show must go on, so we power through.
Exactly. It's all right. It went to Twitch in a couple of weeks. It'll be gone anyway, and nobody will remember except basically this recording because this is going to YouTube where you just admitted the fact that you fucked up. So
I did.
Cool.
happily did.
Yeah. So, JT, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Much better this week than last week, so I'm not as angry. Though I guess for this show you kind of need that anger, so I guess I'll find it at some point.
Okay. Here.
I think we have enough topics there.
Does that work? Is that good enough anger right there? So
emotional.
But after last week and everything that you had right there. By the way, I only did that because I just saw a small spike on like my personal Facebook. So as soon as I did that, they just disappeared. So whoever was basically watching probably just left in disgust and be like, I don't like him.
Who's that? No,
I don't like him. I'm gonna ask him.
That guy again.
Here's the thing: when I have a film, I'm gonna ask him to try and get into film festivals. You know, because when I have that 78-minute short film, you know, and I haven't talked to him in 6 years, I'm gonna ask him to help me get my film into a festival. JT, sound familiar?
Yeah, especially right now as I keep getting text messages from people going, "Hey, you want to help us put together a film festival this year?"
No, you don't.
I'm being very nice about it, but it's like, yeah, I'm done.
I had a nervous breakdown one. Was eating cold hot dogs out of the fridge at 6 o'clock in the morning because of the stress. I put almost 800 miles on my car in 3 days, going just between basically the Catskill Mountains and New York City.
I have an idea.
Yes.
Let's have a film festival named after a famous town in New Jersey, and then move it 3 hours away from said town. Great idea.
Yeah, we'll start it in a town in Hudson
crossing
County.
state lines.
Crossing state lines.
We won't mention it's Hoboken, and then we'll move it to Jersey City. We'll move it to Middletown, New York. We'll move it to Greenwood Lake, I think it was for 3 years. I don't know where the hell it is now.
I got as far as Middletown. And even that I was like, how far do we have to drive? I drove an hour to get to my friend's house. Then she drove the next hour for us to get to that festival.
Dude, you know, I'll say this: that theater was gorgeous. That setup was amazing, and then it was phenomenal. And he was trying to corner the market up there until Hudson Valley took over. But then he took it to Greenwood Lake where he made serious bank. And a town that was actually trying to figure out every legal way to kick him out of the town, but failed in the process. If this ever gets back to him, my ass is unbridledly toast. So we're going to find out how that works out. But I had many stories about that film festival and my lack of desire to ever work with it again. And
I met Martin Cove, so that at least was nice about it. Anyway,
dude, that guy's a peach. I got the chance to meet Robert Loggia, which was really cool. I mean, listen, to his credit, he does get good celebs. The last time that I was there, I know he had Tia Carrere and like Louis Gossett Jr., so there's no complaints on that. But yeah, let's just say there's a lot that basically waits until the last minute to get done. Film festival has a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of months, or in his case, a lot of month.
I'm sorry, sir. You go.
I was going to say, that's a long month. That's all.
Oh.
I think any volunteer event where you're like helping put it together, all of them are just insane, and no one has any idea of what it takes to put an event together.
Yeah.
I remember a convention I was a part of. I won't say that it's Anime Next. I was the actually not even Anime Next. It was actually the one that it was actually one of the smaller conventions, Manga Next. They made me the head of tech for the first time, and I thought, well, this is the easy convention. This will be easy to put together. A week before the event, I was sitting at another convention called KatsuCon, sitting at a table, still figuring out how to get our band to work correctly and how to get all these other little things that the head wanted to do. Some people are just insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the problem is on our side of it, we never really got paid much for it at all. I think I might have financially broke even, maybe. But I got a couple of bucks here now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the problem with that is that, with these festivals, again, people don't realize that you have, here's the funny thing. When you're a filmmaker going into a film festival, you sit there, you got your after parties, you got these meet and greets, but you got these crew on the back end who are fucking killing themselves to do all this stuff, treated like crap because basically, yes, I have a film in your festival. Which one is it? It's that 30-second film that's going to be going in, in that middle of that 1 minute block. And it's like, the ego that some of these people have from an IMDb credit, that they got from something in 2006. And it's like, dude, you have one movie credit from a movie nobody fucking remembers. And basically, I have to sit there and completely 100% unbridledly kiss your ass because that's the way the game is supposed to be. It's part of the reason I walked away because I really wanted to punch some of these people in the face.
I'm hoping I don't get Gina upset at me for this. It doesn't actually involve her. It's no complaint towards her. Or even the festival. I love Westfield International, but it was one of the filmmakers who got accepted into her festival. Okay. I forget what the name of the film was. Not that I would say the name of it anyway, but the guy who made it knew that the sound on it was bad, and rather than get it professionally fixed, as I'm there, I'm the projectionist. I have the video. I'm playing it on the screen. I'm the one controlling the audio board. He decides he's going to come back there and treat me as the professional sound technician, that I have to tweak his movie as it's actively playing on the screen.
You basically have to do live editing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, screw off. You're done.
Yeah. Well, they're not even supposed to be allowed back there anyway with you.
No. Well, in this case scenario, I'm sitting at the same level with the rest of the audience. So all you have to do is come to the table I'm sitting at. So it's unfortunately though, it's I think that event was only a staff of maybe under 10. So there wasn't anyone like guarding me saying no.
We had a film festival that was located in Bergen County. It's a decent theater, but what I didn't realize, and this I learned when I started being affiliated with it, is that the entire projection system for this movie theater, which has like 8 to 10 different screens there, is all run on PlayStation 3s. Yeah.
I'm not.
It can work, but it was surprising for me to see that.
That's here. What I've kind of seen with a lot of people is if they don't really know how tech works, they go with whatever they know will work. And a PlayStation 3 is technically I would say a decent video player. Yeah, that would work.
I was just really surprised. Who would have thought a movie theater, which which has decent size and some level of cred in Bergen County, would be like, yeah, we got a PS3.
Yeah, that never would have crossed
no, 3 is fine.
My mind.
What's that?
That never would have crossed my mind.
No, I didn't. And then of course, basically, when they inevitably shit themselves on that massive premiere that somebody has, where cast came out and you got this 60 some odd people that came off a bus, and of course the video at that point and the audio starts skipping and all hell's breaking loose. They don't blame themselves for basically the fact that they tripped and broke the thing. They're going to blame someone else.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories. This actually came from the Hang On to Your Shorts Film Festival. I love how we're not getting into any of our topics right now.
We'll get into Donald Faison and Law and Order.
The show is still young.
Yeah.
So at the Hang On to Your Shorts Film Festival a few years ago, I was the video projectionist in the Porter room down there. And during the horror films, we played one. I can't remember what it was, but apparently it had some really high quality Dolby Digital 5.1 sound in there.
Okay.
And I was stereo. I told people I'm stereo. It's like speaker 1, speaker 2, stereo. So I down mixed it, and the guy, after his movie played, came up to me and it's like, It didn't sound right. It's like, well, I mean, it's not Dolby Digital, it's stereo. Yeah, but it was missing this sound effect and that sound effect. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. I set it up to down convert it. It should have been fine. So he kind of griped about it, and then he walked away. And then his brother came up to me and said, "Yeah, don't worry about that. It happened at like 2 other film festivals."
Please, if you don't mind, put the name of the film of the director down below.
I don't remember at this point.
Okay, I'd be curious if I know them, because that's usually how these things work. You do enough of these festivals, you're like, oh, hey, it's that guy again. But anyway, we can go on a full tangent about how much we hate film festivals and the work that goes into it for copious amounts of time. But we got better shit to actually talk about in this case. Tonight, basically, as I'd mentioned, the fact that we're going to be talking a little bit about some, down that way, some Law & Order Season 21 has finally rebooted. And I've got to tell you, even though I'm not really a fan of the show, watching that intro again was magical. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about Faison. Was that?
It hit the feels.
Dude, it totally 100% did. There's something about seeing Sam Waterston again, you know, and you could tell he's getting up there. The man's like 80, 81 years old at this point. And I don't see him entirely lasting the season. I think he's just kind of there just to pass the reins off a little bit. But it was
he might come in every couple episodes to just, you know, smooth it along and kind of. But also very anticlimactic entrance too. He just walks into the office. And they're straight up having that conversation. There wasn't like a grand, which, I mean, I guess is Law and Order. It's not supposed to be that kind of Hollywood in terms of those kind of theatrics and dramatics. But yeah, I don't know. Something a little more exciting.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, though? I think they wanted to kind of go that way just because of the fact it's like, yeah, he's always there. It's what he's going to be. You know he's going to be there. So you maybe didn't want a magic reveal, you know. But I was a little surprised by that, too. It was a general day at the office. But I mean, honestly, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and then this new guy here at the corner, who's kind of got this like, I don't know, Neil Patrick Harris kind of Ralph Macchio hybrid look.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have and then you brought over we just said his name from Burn Notice.
Yeah, Jeffrey Donovan.
So yeah, right. So there is the blend of kind of some new characters with some of the OGs.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. Usually I wasn't on Law & Order. I was more of just the SVU. And now that they have this new organized crime where they brought him back, I think that's phenomenal. But then kind of bringing these guys back, Anthony Anderson, Waterston, and all these guys, it got me back into Law & Order. So now they got me watching that too. So now I'm 3 Law & Orders.
What's weird to me is seeing Anthony Anderson in this after having done Blackish for what, like 8 seasons, I think, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he did Law and Order, which kind of got him established, you know, in the Hollywood scene, and then he did Blackish, and then came back here again to kind of where it all started again. And to me, that felt weird in some ways. I remember Christopher Lloyd a couple of times that he ended up reprising the role as Emmett Brown, you know, like for the video games and things like that. He said it's one of those. He said it felt kind of like putting on a pair of shoes that you haven't actually worn in years. And I've got to wonder with Anthony Anderson if it's kind of the same thing, where it's just you kind of fall back into old systems a little bit there, and you're just kind of like, this is what, you know, this feels right again. You know, I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
absolutely. I'm gonna say, I think my first introduction to Anthony Anderson, probably being my younger age, was in the first Transformers movie, where he's in the beginning, and he's got the Commander's jersey on, and they bring him into the interrogation, and he's going back with a plate of donuts, and I thought he was hilarious in that role. And that was like my first remembrance of Anthony Anderson in any role, whether it be TV or movie.
I think at that point he had already been with Law and Order for maybe like a year or so at that point.
Yeah, because that was 2007.
For me, I think it was Barbershop, which is, I think, almost 20 years old now.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Law and Order, Law and Order, he got his start actually in Law and Order SVU as Lucius Blaine in an episode called Fat, and then got a job as in Law and Order itself. But between those two was when he did Transformers.
So it
But he
was
had,
just in the beginning then, yeah.
yeah, but he did
Oh wait.
about a dozen episodes of The Shield, a little over a dozen episodes all about the Andersons.
And we gotta remember he was also in Kangaroo Jack. And
Oh
then he
yeah. Oh,
hippity hoppity
Kangaroo Jack.
away.
Yeah.
If I can not to move away from this real quick, but
No,
when
please
I
move.
in 2003, I was a cashier at a supermarket somewhere, and I remember a really long line where we had like a 10-year-old child on that line, and he repeated the same line over and over again until his mother was done, and then he hippity hoppied away. Then he hippity. Oh, it's like, oh my god, I want to.
Dude, we can do an entire show about basically being a cashier or a stock person or anything in customer
Oh
service like
god.
that. Yeah, all three of us have dealt with that hell. You know.
Yes. But yeah, so he was in that too.
And I'm sure that's not on his resume either. But here's the weird thing about that episode last night is, I mean, obviously, the Cosgrove character was kind of a dick. I mean, had like Briscoe, but without like the personality kind of thing. But it didn't feel like it meshed perfectly yet. Like it's still trying to figure it out. It still felt a little bit like a pilot.
It kind of like they definitely wanted to address the whole racial things that are going on now. And I don't want to say that his character forced the issue, but the way it first started off the episode, it was very rocky and like, yeah, it didn't mesh. It almost kind of
he
seemed
was straight up in that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed almost like awkward, but then it kind of smoothed out as the episode went on.
Yeah. I mean, in this, like I said, that felt a little off. Sam Waterston, like I said, I think is getting up there in years. He's, again, like I said, I think he's like 81 years old now at this point.
Yeah,
So I don't see him really doing that a full load season. I mean, it could be something where he operates maybe a little bit similar to what like Tom Selleck does with Blue Bloods, where they bring him out, he films all of his stuff in like a week, and then just send him home for 2 months. Because that's
right.
That might
especially
be
if they're going to be in small, kind of small increments scenes. He was only, what was that, like a 5-minute scene?
Yeah, and
yeah. So and then he was brought up much. Well, he was brought up for like another minute later on in the episode.
Yeah.
But it's definitely possible with these guys, whether it be time constraints, busy schedules, or just kind of older age, they might have these guys come in, just bang out all this stuff for the season, and then get them out of here.
Yeah.
Let me ask this: as I'm not the biggest Law and Order fan, it was one of those shows that I visit my grandmother and she would have it on and I'd watch it. So I don't know how good it's supposed to be, but now that this premiere's come, do you see this as a show that's going to last for another? Let's just keep it simple: 3-4 seasons, or do you think But do you think it'll run out of steam much quicker than that?
I'd say 5 to 6 at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see it sustaining. Especially, I don't know, something about the Law and Order just really always kind of, especially with, if you're keeping up with times, you're always able to create new content. And even though some of the storylines or some of the cases may seem repetitive, every season you are getting some new refreshing
storyline between these actors and stuff. Do you see like them meshing well together? People will be interested in watching them every week.
Dude, very much so, especially SVU.
Well, well, I'm talking about this version.
I can't say for sure. I've never seen it, but behind the scenes,
I would give it. I would give it a chance, a solid chance, especially since for the most part, these characters have been on the show before, and they're kind of making this grand return. So it's not like this brand new experiment that they're trying. So I think it'll pick up a little bit where these guys left off. But I still think SVU right now is the real gravy maker for the Law and Order umbrella.
It is, and I think that's why it's kind of in the middle right now, because at this point now it's Law and Order Thursdays. Blacklist got picked up for season 10. I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as how that's going to go.
That's 10 seasons.
Dude, my dad, bro, once a week.
They just got picked up. Harry Lennox posted it the other day.
Once a week, my dad is going, bro, have you watched Blacklist yet? Oh, James Spader, phenomenal. It's like, dude, I don't have... It's like, yes, I know I have not watched Blacklist yet, but in a week's time, how can I make up for watching all of that in a week?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it's still a new show to me. I still remember when it was the promos and stuff. It's like, I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah, I remember when it was first coming out.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, like I said, at this point, I will say, I mean, I don't really touch it much anymore. They do. You don't use my car anymore for this one, but Blacklist is like the unbridled, perfect, well-oiled machine. It's the way that they run. They have like short 8 to 10 hour crew days. It's systematic. It's just bam, bam, bam. So everybody doesn't really have a problem with it because it just operates so smoothly. There's no chaos. There are other shows out there in the New York area that operate 6-day work weeks, including basically ending Saturday morning at 6 a.m. and starting their week on Sunday at 6 a.m. So that's, like I said, I'm not going to discuss that on air, what show that is. But compared to that, Blacklist is so absolutely unbridledly smooth. It doesn't surprise me it's going 10 seasons. You know, SVU is by and large a very, very smooth running machine as well. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the cast get along so well behind the scenes. You know, where they'll sit there and they'll run lines. It's like, you know, we got to, you know, the line, we're just going to throw something out there. It's like, so far this child rapist has escaped all of us. We got to find him before he strikes again and hits a 7th victim. And they'll sit there and it's like, there's child rapists. And they'll just start throwing voices out behind the scenes. You know, I gotta say, this child rapist, we have to catch him before he strikes again. You know, and that's Mariska. That's Scarafino, Peter Scarafino. You know, it's Rollins. All those characters just act that way off camera, and then bam, as soon as they have to, they're in, and it's just work mode immediately. But that's where I think, like you said, SVU is kind of the glue that's holding it all together. Now, my question, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, Brandon, is now that SVU is so heavily tied to organized crime, will Law and Order tie into that whole thing as well?
I don't think they're going to tie it in, just because that would really be some crossover. Like I get, like Chicago, with all their med, police, and fire, like they have these 3 show crossovers. But Law and Order, I don't know if they're going to, just because of how kind of like messy a case can be. I think with the Chicago series, they're kind of more focused on the characters and their storylines pertaining to the plot of this series, rather than plot of the series being the focus, and then character development, interaction stuff kind of being secondary.
And I think with Law and Order itself, the other part of it is because organized crime is so episodic as far as basically its progression of its storyline right now, the Albanians and everything like this, can that really cross over with 2 individual episodic shows? Because the one thing about Law and Order and SVU is that it's all pretty much tied up in a bow one way or another by the end of the episode. I don't know if they can necessarily tie that into and do that with the regular Law and Order. They might. I mean,
but I can see them not having to tie in organized crime with SVU. I think they can be 2 completely separate shows without having the crossover. But I get, having the relationship between them really feeds to the whole, and having them come back really feeds to the hype of the crossover aspect. But really thinking about it, I think obviously SVU survives on its own, but I think organized crime would still survive on its own.
It could. The ratings are improving somewhat. I know it's did 22 episodes.
Yeah, I love organized crime. It's got me tied in.
Fun fact on organized crime: I once watched a woman trace a man down the street with carrying a pitchfork. This was not filmed. This was just some lady who was really pissed off at, I guess, her boyfriend or whoever it was. He comes bolting down the street, and she runs after him like 3 seconds later with a pitchfork in her fucking hand.
Where was this?
This was organized crime in the Bronx. It was probably about 8, 9 o'clock at night. We saw him sprint, and it was ready to like, just get out of the way, get out of the way. Because this lady's like, she's coming at him. I don't know where she got a freaking pitchfork from.
I was going to say, where are they in Bronx that the pitchfork is her go-to pickup weapon?
At this point, I mean, I know the episode's already aired. I forget exactly which one it was. But
It's like
one of
professional
it's
wrestling, like when they go under the ring and somehow they pull out a machete.
dude,
It's just like it's just there.
it's like the
Just
Bronx has got a Bronx, but
That's
it was
fair.
when
Yeah.
they brought the mom back back upstairs. You know, it was whatever that episode was where she started railing on the kid that was feeding geese.
Yes.
And yeah, that day we just stayed out of the way, and I brought it up since. Like, oh yeah,
Just another day in the
because
office.
like I said, New York's got a New York.
Yeah, I used to work for a news organization. I'll just say the name, News 12, and
Okay.
so there used to be 5 of them. And that was New Jersey, Connecticut. I'm trying to look at where my fingers are. New Jersey, Connecticut, Westchester, Long Island, and the Bronx. I
Mhm.
visited 4 out of the 5. You want to guess which one I never went to?
Westchester. No.
Yes, it was Westchester.
Oh, West. Okay. Well,
No, it was the Bronx. I actually now work with someone who was the chief engineer of the Bronx at one point. He's like, "Did you ever check out my facility?" I'm like, "No, I avoided that like the plague."
By the way, I want to point this out. Did you? I don't know if you knew this. I think Brandon. I think you might have learned this too. But you know, news people that are on there, and especially even the guys that are out in the field, they don't make shit. Those people make like $15 an hour, maybe 18 at most.
Well, it depends where you
guys
work.
outside in the middle of the hurricane.
Depends where you work. If you work for News 12, yeah, $15 an hour.
Yep.
If you work for like CBS New York, NBC New York, I would assume you make a lot more money because they have more money.
Well, I came across a guy whose resume was sent to me through weird set of circumstances, but he was out in the Midwest, and obviously cost of living is lower, minimum wage is lower, and I can't imagine if he made $11 or $12 an hour out there, that wouldn't surprise me in the least. Being a guy on TV, just as a news guy, and it shocks me to see how little they get paid for that.
This is 2008, so around 14 years ago. I think money has gone up since then, but when I started, I was a master control operator, and I won't explain the job. I'll just say it's kind of important. I was making $13.50 an hour. Our directors, which we called them directors, but they're really the entire studio crew because we had an automation system. These people had to be the director, the technical director, the video operator, the graphics operator, the audio operator,
Producer.
the camera operators, the teleprompter. No, producer's the only thing they didn't have to do.
Oh,
sometimes.
okay. There you go. Oh,
And the floor manager, because during commercial breaks, one of them would have to run from the control room out to the studio to either move a camera or move a chair or to reload batteries into a wireless microphone, then run back into the control room and start the show. These people were being paid $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
No, I take it back. They weren't being paid $15 an hour. Their salary equivalated to around $50 an hour. They were salaried because they didn't want to pay them overtime. They got comp time that they were never allowed to use.
Yeah, I did not realize that until I sank a modest amount of money to go back to school, and I'm like, oh.
And we knew each other before that.
I could be a union background actor sitting in a chair for 19 hours straight, or we'll bring it down 12 hours straight, get fed food, sit on my ass, do jack, and make like 5 times the amount in one day. And just to be,
I would do that.
dude, you make so much in the New York area. You make so much friggin' money as a background actor. It's insane.
Yeah,
you make $300, $400, $500 a day easy just to sit on, just to be a literal extra in a TV show.
I do that for free all the time anyway. I might as well get some money out of it.
Yeah,
union benefits, health benefits, though.
Yeah, right.
Let's be fair, but that's if you're actually a paid actor. How many actors are there like, hey, can you do pro bono for me for this film I'm shooting over the weekend? It'll be free pizza.
There's only, well, bless your heart, you actually did that for us on our film. But there's a couple
my
of
thing
people
is,
I would be willing to do that.
My thing with that is like, especially for a show like Law and Order, filming in New York all the time, in the background, you're going to see not even side extras or anything, actual regular people doing their regular daily, routines or whatever it is. And I see these episodes, and I'll, see on these street corners way in the background. I'm like, man, that guy's probably really just going to work, like actually not knowing that he's on TV.
Legally, you can't stop them from walking. Usually a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have a sign up that says, by passing the sign, you may be on camera. You're giving your rights to legally do this. But a lot of those people, I mean, yeah, they're just regular, people that are just basically, especially in New York, where they really don't like to be around cameras at all.
Or like cars with license plate numbers, depending on how, kind of zoomed in the cameras are, like random people, and you never know.
Yeah.
Well, you're shooting in public. I mean, there's always that danger. The film that I shot with Scott, I don't think we got anyone on there, but if someone was in the background, it's not really much I could do about it.
Yeah. Fix it in post. But the funny part is basically, and JT, you get this, the production assistant, and we were talking to Brian Scalaro yesterday, who actually apparently started out, the guy that we had on yesterday that we were talking to, that was on the Fox show Stacked and a bunch of other stuff. He started out, by the way, as a PA on Real Sex on HBO. So if you remember what that show was back then, he went as a, go ahead.
Yeah, I just remembered what it was.
Let me just say this. He went from being a PA on Real Sex to being a PA on the cartoon show Doug, as the guy who would move, the mic, the chairs, and little things like that as a PA job to go to get water guy. And it's like, you went from Real Sex to Doug.
Yeah. I mean, that's the craziness of our industry. It's like, if someone starts off in porn and they're like behind the scenes, like I can see, like, yeah, you were just hired to like shoot something or do a job. It is what it is.
Like those guys on like the Deuce and shit. But anyway,
I remember an interview with Bill Hader talking about how he started as a PA on Collateral Damage with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh God, that was terrible. I spent money on that movie too.
Yeah. But imagine that, like, Bill Hader's a pretty big star now, and that's how he started. He was a PA on that lousy film from 20 years ago.
Dude, bless your heart if you could actually be a PA. I would not have the patience to deal with
it. Wasn't that bad?
Here's the thing. Collateral Damage felt like Commando, but like a weaker version of it. And Commando is not highbrow, movie there. It's Arnold being like the most perfect Arnold Schwarzenegger you could ever ask Arnold Schwarzenegger to be.
Yeah.
Well, it was also, I think,
I enjoyed it. I'm not harsh when it comes to critiquing movies.
That's fair. But I remember looking at it, he's like, okay, he's a firefighter, but he's not using guns. He's invading the country, I think, whatever it was, But I'm like, this is like Commando, but just not really good.
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger after Batman and Robin, I don't think he ever really recovered from that, other than his run as governor.
Yeah, I was going to say he became governor for a while. Well, I mean, he had the Expendables, too.
I don't know, Kindergarten Cop was pretty good.
Yeah,
but that was the early 90s.
1990.
We're talking about after 98.
That was
91.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because then he also had like Junior, Jingle All the Way. Oh, True Lies he had.
That was 94.
That was with him. Oh, 94 with Cameron. Then he had Jingle All the Way.
96.
The Sixth Day, I think, was in there too.
That was 99.
Okay. Then he had End of Days, which took place like right at Y2K.
Oh, End of Days was 99. What did you say? What was the one before End of Days?
Sixth Day.
Oh, that may have been 98. That was around the same time as Batman and Robin.
Oh yeah. Let's kick some ice. Hey everyone, chill.
Oh yeah,
99 was End of Days.
Okay. I
still remember the dorkiest thing in the world. Why do I remember when End of Days came out? Because Arnold Schwarzenegger was on SmackDown that week, and B, I had a copy of WrestleMania 2000, which is one of the 4 greatest wrestling video games of all time.
You're gonna get some wrestlers on here too.
Yes.
We had Miguel on last night. Let's see if he knows anybody. But anyway, Brandon, you've been so patient down there.
No, because I was going through just to get the year for End of Days on IMDb, and right after that, his first credit in the 21st century was being in Bon Jovi's "Say It Ain't So" or "Say It Isn't So" music video. Apparently.
Okay.
And then the Sixth Day.
Oh, Sixth Day was actually afterwards.
Was 2000.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
And
End
then
of
I think he ran
Days,
for governor.
Bon Jovi, then The Sixth
Yeah.
Day.
So
He's got a
I don't
couple.
know.
Actually, he's got a couple of like music video credits.
Hmm.
Actually, he was
Arnold?
apparently in 80's Big Gun music video,
Really?
and which is actually fitting. He was in the "You Could Be Mine" video from Guns N' Roses, being that it was in Terminator 2. That was like the song.
Well, back in the day, he was the the Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the Rock back in the day.
Yeah, he was.
Like
Yeah, he
any
was,
movie he was
for
in, you
sure.
wanted to go see. And then, like near the end of the '90s, just like no one wanted to see him anymore. No one wanted to watch any of his movies. I don't know what happened.
In the
He tried
'90s,
to
he
go a
was
little more comedy, too much
busting
comedy.
things out every year.
You know,
Yeah,
like I said, I think Kindergarten Cop was a good blend of comedy, and action. He's a little less muscular in that, and then he became pregnant. Then he had to get the Turbo Man action figure, and it's like it was sort of this mild decline. And then of course I think basically Batman and Robin, which even Joel Schumacher was like, I'm really sorry I made that. I apologize. When your director apologizes for a movie, it ain't good.
Oh god, I remember liking that as a kid too, and I think maybe a year or two later I watched it again and went, "Oh wow, this is very, very awful."
It doesn't age, yeah.
No, it doesn't age well, but it holds a small little kind of sentimental place in my heart.
Good. So, starring that kid who would later go on to be Anakin Skywalker.
Who would?
Jake Lloyd was the kid from Turbo Man.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yes. And then he went on to Phantom Menace, and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out of acting," because
I'm
all the kids
done.
at school made fun of him.
Speaking of Darth Vader, you posted a picture today with the first shot, I guess, of Kristen Hayter as.
Supposedly, yeah.
Now, is that real? Because I noticed it doesn't have either the Disney or Marvel logo on it. If you look where it says Obi-Wan Kenobi, it said like graphic something on it.
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that.
I thought it had the Disney Plus kind of the swoosh.
Because it was.
I thought it did. It looked like him.
JT, you trying to pull it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at it right now. Original series, May 25th, only on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, if it's got the Disney swoosh thingy.
But it also says Gila GFX, and I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't.
Scott,
I mean, listen, I started after I posted it. I started to have some doubts about that. But if it's fake, it's a damn good fake job.
The more I look at it, does look like it's very heavily CGI.
Or if it's just kind of, the CGI with, the kind of theatrical filters to make it dark and kind of this rustic look. That looks like him.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like Hayden Christensen under a lot of makeup and CGI.
Now, I do know that...
Kristen Hayden. I'm terrible with names.
Now, apparently, from my understanding on this, is that what Ewan McGregor said was the single best part of doing the Obi-Wan series was working with Hayden Christensen again. He said if everything that could have been happening, that was the best thing for him. And that's kind of sweet because Hayden Christensen got a lot of shit after Star Wars. His career I think Jumper was in there and some other stuff as well. But it's
fell off a cliff.
It's sort of like the Star Wars curse, I'm going to call it. Where you have him, Jake Lloyd, Mark Hamill for a long time, Carrie Fisher for a long time, David Prowse, I'm not sure what he ever did. And then even on the sequels, it's been, Daisy Ridley's been, I think, a little bit quiet lately too.
Then again, what's his name? Actually,
John Boyega was hot for a while.
John Boyega was livid. And
he was in everything for about a year and a half after Force Awakens came out.
And then, but then he just disappeared. Then he started trashing, what they did with Finn. And I don't blame him. Finn was a brilliant
I remember
character.
that.
Like, you fucked that up so badly. He could have been so cool.
Well, the Force Awakens had so much potential, and then everything after that just kind of flatlined. Though, so someone pointed out recently, why did Finn turn on the First Order? Well, because he saw his colleague die. And then a day or two later, he's actually chopping down his colleagues. I got over that real fast.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there was, like I said, there was a lot of issues with those movies, and again, I saw every single Star Wars movie as a premiere or early screening, full tilt. I never saw an audience not give a shit until Rise of Skywalker. Nobody cared at that point. They'll just laugh. No applause, no energy. It's just like, hey, Harrison Ford's there. Cool.
I don't even think anyone in the theater I went to cared when Harrison showed up on screen.
I mean, dude, the energy that I heard and saw and felt from all the other ones, it would shake the theater. This one was just like, okay, hey, it's Ian McDiarmid. Cool. Yeah.
Has JJ done anything since then? Because I feel like he's kind of fallen off since.
Don't know what he's been up to.
I feel like he has.
They're actually bringing back Star Trek, and I guess he's going to have no involvement. Actually, there's a good one. If we can,
there is a new Star Trek coming out.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we could jam this one into our heavy topics list.
Sure.
So apparently, Paramount announced that they were going to shoot a brand new Star Trek film with the cast from the last few, and then the cast was like, "Well, that's news to us." Apparently, they didn't sign any of the cast.
And Quinto and all of them, and
none of them been signed. All their agents are saying, "Yeah, we're not aware of this." So basically, Paramount announced this film without making sure their cast was in place, and now apparently it's going to be heavy negotiations because, hey, now we know you need us, and you're going to pay to get us.
Sure.
Well, he just did Justice League, the whole.
J.J. Abrams?
No, he did. No, he was developing. Yeah, just a bunch of little stuff, but nothing major. No, I read that wrong. I forgot what I just said.
Sky Jinx was the last thing he directed in 2019.
No, in 2016, he said he wanted to do another Star Trek, bringing back Pine, Quinto, and then introducing bringing back Chris Hemsworth too.
Yeah, that's already off the table. They were considering that, and then they decided to scrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, nothing major since.
You know what bothers me immensely? There's never been a Deep Space Nine movie. They needed one, just one.
They never technically had a Voyager movie either.
Yeah, but Voyager, they got home. You saw finality there, I mean, their whole series was get back home, which they did in a very rushed job at the finale of Voyager. But there's so much that they could have done with DS9 that never was, and here we are, 20 plus years later, it still hasn't had anything.
Well, I think I can't think of the actor who played Cisco, but I believe he's retired now. So
Avery Brooks.
Yeah, so I don't think he's coming back.
But it's like, at the end of it, he gets remarried after losing his wife before season 1.
By the way, I haven't finished Deep Space Nine. I guess I had 20 years to do it, but
what season are you on right now?
I got to season 5, and then things kind of slowed down a lot, and it was getting harder to move through the episodes.
All right. Season 5 and 6 were good. 7 dropped a little bit, but wasn't bad.
Was there 7 seasons? I thought there was only 6.
Nope, 7 is when they brought in Ezri Dax because Jamie Farrell, they killed her off. Sorry, spoilers.
Okay. That one I knew about.
Okay. But
no, I'm going through now. He's supposed to do Abrams for at least the next few projects. It's all kind of some DC Marvel or just DC stuff. He's supposed to reboot the Superman movie franchise.
Okay.
Because we need more Super. Oh, okay, why not?
Well,
okay,
that leads me. Wait. That leads me. Okay, so we've all finished Peacemaker.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the end scene where they bring in, Jason Momoa as Aquaman and Flash and stuff. They have kind of Wonder Woman and Superman blacked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Superman, I'm guessing, is because they haven't replaced Henry Cavill yet.
No, I had heard at some point they were trying to get Michael B. Jordan in there, but has that been dropped since?
Haven't heard that one.
That would be news to me.
Huh.
Michael B. Jordan playing Superman.
Money wherever
yeah, that was something I had heard a while back. Like they were going to do a brand new Superman movie. It was going to be a reboot, and they were looking at Michael B. Jordan to replace Superman.
Possibly.
Not, but quite frankly,
it doesn't sound
Henry
totally
Cavill,
unfamiliar. Hold on.
and we're all talking over each other. Well, I think Henry Cavill made a really good Superman. He just was the victim of a director who should have been directing Superman.
And had a mustache at one point.
Well, the mustache thing was because the studio can't plan anything either. Well, no, I take it back. That was a big tragedy. That was Zack Snyder lost his daughter. He kind of quit the production halfway through, and then freaking what's his name took over and ruined everything. Joss
Whedon.
Yeah. So I mean, it was already a turd sandwich, but then it was a turd sandwich with extra diarrhea on it.
Is this like some kind of an AVGN thing, like an angry video game nerd thing?
Oh, we are from Jersey.
That's true. Yeah. Well, he's like outside Philly now, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they do another Superman movie, because okay, why not?
Apparently he's producing something. Michael B. Jordan, a Superman-related series. It found 2 new writers.
A movie or TV show?
It's going to be so I'm reading right now. Michael B. Jordan is producing a new Superman-related series, and things are moving along nicely as it's found 2 new writers. Series will focus on another Kryptonian with superpowers hailing from the same planet as Superman. So he is not Superman. I mean, he will be a Superman.
Brand new character.
Right. He will be a Superman, just not the Superman that we're traditionally used to.
Okay. Cool. But it still leaves, I guess, the movie's open.
And he goes, this other hero is black and finds refuge on his adopted planet, Earth 2.
Earth 2?
Earth 2.
I guess that by Earth 2, they mean it's a different universe.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, confusion.
Yay, multiverse.
Well, superheroes
that are finally getting their due.
There you go.
Finally. I keep bitching about and grumbling about this, but we finally have Booster Gold supposedly showing up. And I've laughed about this. I've joked about this because it is kind of a joke character. I guess Donald Faison, if it's true, isn't bad. But I still struggle with it a little bit.
He's got the personality. I think he could do really well with it.
I don't know. I mean,
I feel like it's one of these with these superheroes. Like, I feel like you never really know until you actually see them, and then you make your decision.
That's true.
Tell me, is it because he's not a blonde?
No, I don't know. I just, you know what it is. I see so much of Chris Turk in him, you know, or from Josie and the Pussycats, part of the boy band group du jour, you know.
That's what I'll just never get about you. You're an actor, but you typecast people once you look at them.
Typecast myself. You know, cop, thug, comedic sidekick. This isn't a lead role. This is the guy who gets made fun of by the lead role. Sometimes off camera, too. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess to me, it wasn't like the choice I would have expected. Because maybe for me, Donald Faison has more like cool guy suave as opposed to, I don't know, dippy comedic sidekick. Does that make sense?
I think he could be both.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, Faison's got suave. You know, I've met the guy. He kind of oozes like the charisma of Chris Turk. You know, so it's hard for me to separate that and see. Okay, he's going to be a weird, goofy character now.
I want to give it a chance. I think there's a lot of potential here. But that's just me.
But the other question is actually, is anybody even going to watch it? Because I mean, it's been 7 seasons of Legends of Tomorrow.
God, I'm falling behind on all these shows.
I thought that was funny. Like Arrowverse is this whole entity that I'm like, if I'm going to jump the gun and really commit to this, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to watch it in like the correct order. But like, I'm going to have to like set a whole year aside for this.
You will.
At this point, I mean, how many goddamn shows and seasons of content are we into now?
I pretty much went through until Arrow was done. And then I kind of lost interest at that point because Arrow was kind of the glue that held my DC universe together.
I never got into any of them. In fact, I'm so far behind. I thought Smallville was part of this entire universe.
Well,
That's last time.
And it expanded.
Technically, it is.
Yeah.
Because Tom Welling makes an appearance as Superman in it.
He makes an appearance as Clark Kent.
Well,
because
yes, but they knew who he was. So.
The only way I had started was Batwoman. Was it a couple years ago? And then when they got to the episode with the Infinite Crisis on Earth, the whole that crossover, obviously I wasn't going to jump into that because then I would be way out in left field and not knowing what's happening. So from that, I watched up till that, but then anything else in the Arrowverse I haven't touched yet.
Yeah, that was still Ruby Rose before she quit.
Yeah, yep, it was Ruby Rose.
Well, that's the other thing too. I could never get into comic books because if you read Marvel or DC, you can't just follow one series. You have to follow this series and then the specials and stuff. And once the movies and the TV shows started doing it, it was like, oh god, no.
Yeah.
Like if you had to watch Marvel from the beginning, starting with Iron Man, could anyone really do it at this point?
It's kind of how I started. I was late to the dance. By the time I even started my first Marvel movie, Guardians had already come out. So, and maybe, I was going to say, it might be a movie or two after that. I think Black Panther had already come out. So I started like from a Reddit post. What order are you supposed to do it in? And I went through one after another, starting with Iron Man 1.
That's like 34 hours.
Yeah.
What's that?
No.
Yeah, how long?
No, so it was like, I'd probably say I started probably Iron Man 3 or maybe even the first Thor. And then at that point, it's easy just to catch up on what's been going on. But then if you're going to end it to the whole TV shows and then obviously the comics, I mean, that's a rabbit hole like none other.
And now they're doing that with the Disney Plus shows. So to keep up with the new movies, you have to have watched WandaVision and Loki. And I haven't watched the new Falcon and Winter Soldier one, but I'm probably gonna have to watch that. What was the other one that came out?
Hawkeye.
Oh, and Hawkeye.
Hawkeye was nice. I mean, it wasn't. But it wasn't as good a Peacemaker by any stretch, but it was nice.
It was.
You need that for Lady Hawkeye. You need that for the new Widowmaker storyline. Otherwise, you're going to think she's a villain going into her next movie.
I think the biggest thing with Hawkeye was kind of introducing, Wilson Fisk as part of the MCU now with Kingpin.
He should not have lost that fight. That's 10 levels of bullshit.
That's
Cad Bane level bullshit.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
In his Hawaiian suit. Come on, you had all the swag in the world to just mess her up.
Yeah.
And now where's all these Netflix shows going to land in all this? Because now that they own the rights to them, are they going to stick them in, or are they just going to reboot the characters?
The Netflix Marvel stuff is being moved to Disney Plus. I heard that starts next month, I believe.
So they actually are going to put them on, because I had heard they were going to put them on Hulu.
They might do Hulu because it's more PG version than Disney Plus. No, I read Disney Plus. So,
what, adding like Daredevil and Defenders and Jessica Jones and all those?
Yeah. No, it says they're moving to Disney Plus.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but that's them.
And I was so excited to see Charlie Cox in the beginning of spoiler in the beginning of Spider-Man as Matt Murdock and bringing that whole aspect of it. So it's really, I don't know, I'm getting excited.
How did you catch that?
Did you guys read what Charlie Cox posted on Twitter the other day?
No.
His mom went to go see Spider-Man No Way Home, and when Charlie Cox showed up, nobody in the audience reacted.
What?
I reacted.
I was
sitting there like
nobody responded.
I was in a packed crowd, and when he came on screen, they all cheered.
Yeah, no. Apparently, he was with his mom, showing her the movie, and like nobody responded.
He went with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, he did.
So Twitter lit up, and it's like, this is reactions of what we had when you showed up. Show this to your mom. But
no, I for the longest time I ended up watching it on my computer. I streamed it. Sorry, government. But I stream it, and I'm literally sitting there on my laptop, and like, yeah, when Charlie Cox came in, and then obviously everybody comes in, like, I was excited, like my heart was racing, and between the chemistry between the three of them, with Toby and Andrew, that they were phenomenal.
And you probably saw that they took the internet by storm by doing a Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other.
Yeah, they just that was 2-3 days ago they did that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
I was really contemplating getting it framed and putting it in my room.
Dude, it's a great
iconic picture now.
Yeah.
But I think that means they're going to debut. When was it? March 4th, 10th, 14th? I can't remember. 22nd. Oh, that sounds right. So we'll finally be able to watch it again on March 22nd. Not streaming. I'm actually, I wanted to see in theaters again. It's still this, I hate to say it, COVID still bugged me a little bit back then.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So I love that movie experience. I love going to see a fan reaction. You guys ever watch Freddy versus Jason?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I saw that in a theater with a packed crowd. The first murder, and it's weird. The villain is murdering someone, and the entire crowd is like, "Yeah!"
That was like the height, and that was the height of the going to the movie experience.
Mm-hmm.
That time period too. So,
well, YouTube is over. What's that?
2003. What the height of the movie going experience? I just wanted to clarify what you
honestly just pre last 15 years or so, 10 years where everything's just been straight up. Yeah, I can find some illegal torrent of it on the computer somehow.
Dude, I worked at a college. I can tell you stories even before it was trendy.
Yeah, I stopped doing that. Like, I downloaded The Dark Knight because I liked it that much.
Mm-hmm.
And then a month later, I got a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, we know you downloaded The Dark Knight." Wow. And this was also my cable provider also happened to be my new employer at that point. So it's like, I better not do this anymore. Well, and that was the end of
Arrested Development. I started watching Arrested Development because it was on one of the college servers, and I'd never seen it, and I went out and bought the DVD because of it. Because it was only the three seasons at the time. But I saw it, I fell in love with it because I could binge watch well before binge watching was a thing. And I'm like, I'm buying this shit. I freaking did. So,
A friend of mine who's now a major computer engineer for a university, and I won't say which one or what his name is, but he once brought a giant server to my school for a party we were doing. Because he was running some audio on it, and it's like, oh, if you want, you can connect and download anything you want. He had this giant library of any videos, and then somewhere very deep is the Anarchist cookbook. It's just like,
I believe I read that as an angry teenager. I had a lot. I have a lot of those books, or had a lot of the books. Yeah.
I've never read it. It was a cool thing to say, like, oh yeah, I've seen a copy of it, but
Uncle Fester's book of Black Medicine, yeah, I had a phase. Let's put it that way. but yeah,
I hear a dog.
What's that?
I hear a dog excited.
Yeah, that's my dog way upstairs.
Yeah. So you got to call it, and
Yeah, I don't know, that's gonna do it for me.
GT, anything else?
I got nothing to add.
Yeah, so maybe we'll just call it here. What do you say? So cool.
Well,
coming right in under an hour.
Yeah, not too bad.
Good.
So it's a nice little Friday. Anyone who would join us, it's a pleasure for you to have spoken with us and stay with us. And now you can go out and get drunk and whatever else.
Exactly.
It's still early. The night is young.
And for this is, as of right now anyway, what grinds my gears? What will be in the future is anyone's guess. So we're, but we didn't really grind a whole lot of gears on this one. I gotta say, we just kind of just kibitzed on shit.
Yeah, this is just general forum, just general talk.
I didn't mind that though, but anyway, yeah. So we're good at this point. Thank you as always for tuning in. Appreciate it. Tomorrow we kick off the MLS season as myself, JD Walker, and someone by the name of Juan Carlos will be breaking down the Philadelphia Union and Minnesota United. United game, the first weekend of the MLS season. They're going to be at Subaru Park. We're going to be on Twitch, and we're going to be taking questions when it comes to MLS around soccer around the world, because you got 3 different guys here that are very familiar with the sport, and 2 of us write for it. So it's going to be impassioned because the fans in Philadelphia are Philadelphia fans. We could just leave it like that. So, but anyway,
And then,
you guys good?
And I was going to say, Sunday, check me out for our NBA coverage with Mavericks Warriors Sunday night.
Yes. So
that'll be
Mark
my
Cuban's team.
Yes, the next chapter in our NBA coverage.
Yes. So, and then Grind My Gear Monday, Tales from the Film Set Tuesday, and then, well, Thursday.
I've got balls of steel.
Look what they are.
Sorry, I'm just pressing random buttons.
All right.
I've got balls of steel.
Anyway.
Cool. So that was, of course, JT McGuire, who's just announced the fact that, yes, he does, in fact, have balls of steel, in case you were wondering. This may be a trivia question at some point in the near future. So for myself, for Mr. JT McGuire, and, of course, Mr. Brandon K., this is Scott Schertzen. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day. Stay awesome.